There are numerous attacks on our office. There are numerous individuals that have an agenda to make sure that my office does not succeed. We're going to fight very hard for justice in spite of the vitriol, the hate, the racist attacks, the known manipulation of the court procedures.
That's St. Louis, Missouri soft on crime prosecutor Kim Gardner responding to a lawsuit that asked she be removed from office. St. Louis now ranks as the second most dangerous city in America, an impressive distinction. Citizens elected Gardner in 2017, re-elected her despite major increases in crime. She's overseen a progressive program of reforms and now has a hard time hiring prosecutors for office because she doesn't actually prosecute a lot of crimes. With me now, Caleb Rowden, president of the Missouri State Senate of the Republican majority there. Two tracks here, right? We've got this lawsuit by the Attorney General that basically says she's derelict in her duties and remove her. And then we've got a bill in the state Senate that would allow a special prosecutor appointed by the governor to come in and prosecute crimes she won't. Do you really care which one happens?
Well, I mean, the Attorney General track is kind of the short term, although that's going to take some time. That is the thing that could eliminate her as an individual. I think the secondary thing, the Senate option, the legislative option is something that certainly could impact her if she is still in office. I think is really, really important. It also could get in front of basically Kim Gardner Part 2. If there was a new prosecutor, a new circuit attorney that took her place, that, took the same general soft on crime view, we just want to put guardrails around her. I mean, the city of St. Louis, the state of Missouri is worse off because their economy can't grow, because their streets aren't safe. And we can point back to directly to the fact that, frankly, she's just not capable of doing her job the way she's supposed to. And so this is a matter of just straight incompetence and negligence, not much more or less. She's just not good at this.
I hate to disagree with you or argue with you, but I've read some of the statements you've made and then also some of her policies. Is it incompetence and negligence, or is she extraordinarily competent at fulfilling her campaign promises and very competent at continuing the policies that she said that she wants to put in place?
Well, it's actually both, right? I mean, I think you could make the case, and I think the case is easily made, frankly, that she is an activist prosecutor. She was George Soros funded. All of those things that have been said about her, they're all true. But the reason why the incident happened over the weekend, in which the young lady from Tennessee got her legs pinned against the car and eventually had to have them amputated, was not because she's an activist. She just didn't file motions that could have gotten that particular assailant put back in prison. He had failed the GPS monitors 50 times, and all she had to do was send a notice to the court to say, hey, this person, or to the law enforcement, said this person needs to come back to prison. She never did it. And so whether that is competence, incompetence, or activism, at this point, it's one or the other. It's probably both, to your point. But it is really, really sad. And people are suffering, and literally people are dying because of who she is and what she does.
Yeah, it may not really matter at some point. The results speak for themselves. Daniel Riley is who you're talking about. Charged in 2020 with robbery, violated house arrest 51 times. Trial was set for July 2020, but prosecutors delayed, citing that they were not ready. And you said a 17-year-old girl lost her legs in the crash. I think about St. Louis homicide rate 60.9 per 100,000, second most dangerous city in America. I'm from there. What's the hollowing out of St. Louis is tragic. I would really use the word criminal in terms of what the elected leaders of St. Louis City have allowed to happen to that city because of their policies, because of what Kim Gardner did. We can all disagree on whether or not policies are effective or not. The results speak for themselves in St. Louis. Is this a little bit of a model for Philadelphia? I know they're trying to impeach George Gascon in Philadelphia. It's not going to work. I'm thinking about Los Angeles. I'm thinking about Chicago. I'm thinking about New Orleans, these other places that have these same very progressive prosecutors. Have you gotten calls from other state legislators in other of these states saying, hey, how can we do the same thing you're doing in Missouri?
Yeah. We actually have had some of those conversations. I mean, I think that you're seeing it nationwide, where these progressive-run cities are just falling into the ground, right? And it is really sad. In Missouri, you said it. You're from St. Louis, St. Louis, when it was thriving, when it was safe, relatively speaking, when the economy was growing, Missouri's better off because of it. But when you see this degradation of these urban areas because of liberal policies and because, people just don't feel safe, so they go move somewhere else. It's sad. It's unfortunate. We are a huge Republican majority in the Missouri legislature, and obviously St. Louis is a left-leaning city. Yeah. I want them to succeed, right. but clearly it's not happening right now.
Yeah, there's a difference also, and I think it's important to point out, between progressive left policies of, hey, there's other ways to do criminal justice, and there's an idea behind diversion programs and drug treatment and everything else, and then policies just to not prosecute, which is what Kim Gardner has continued to do. Sir, it's good to see you. We appreciate it. Come back and report as things are continuing to move along, all right?
You bet. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.